Little early here. Hey, Ben. Whew. Sunday evening. On a nice 4-day weekend here. Hey, John. Thanks. Hope you're doing well. This will be a fun discussion, man. We're going to do old school, the little mix of 5e with Henry Dvorak, with his Warlocks. It's Henry, which Will gets on. Be good. Old and new. Yeah, of course, Mr. Understood you got another one going on. All good. Good to see you. Sound okay out there? Always worry. Alright, cool. Thanks, man. There's only 4,000 things that can go wrong on this. After 5 years. this first so I remember. Yeah, I know I'm talking to myself. Sorry. Remember, Anna's still in Sweden. I do have Will. Yeah, of course. Carlos. It's good to see you, man. Giving away some stuff tonight. You know, classic reprints plus hard copies of Will's. Ravens Rock, you know. Be good. Carlos, I'm so horrible on it, right? Just there's so much going on down there, you know? It's always something. Good, let's start. Check and see how much time that Kickstarter has left. I really don't know. Some people have off 4-day weekend, some don't. I just took it off. I made my work. Rolling here. Going. Something about just right. That's going to be a great discussion tonight. As we look just to go to the dark arts of Greyhawk. Hi, good to see everyone here. Darling, I have modelists too. The calling some favors to those. See, darling. Let me make one more thing here. Right. We're still early for a few minutes. I'm babbling to myself. Dark Arts, you're going to love this discussion, darling. It's going to be not only my old school, but it's going to be 5th edition too. So, yeah. Because Will's going to come on and he's going to share with all his warlocks. And yeah, so it's a mix of all. It's not just, I'm trying to expand the horizons, you know what I'm saying? So, Will's not on yet, and any shout out to my mods here. Oh, cool. Open patron subclass for, is it Forgotten Realms? Gonna come live. I'll have to go to the alternate screen. I don't want to have a big blank screen in the middle. So, coming live. Hello. Solo so far. So, it is a holiday weekend. But I know that Will be on shortly. And I'm not sure about Tim. But how's everyone doing tonight? Feels good to be back. I think, things are going well. And if you all saw in the post, okay, last night I got hammered last night. All right, so it was I've had a rough day recovering. So guess I had one too many Italian margaritas last night. And if you want to know, what's in an Italian margarita, well, I got a bottle of Don Julio 7, which is probably the bottle's like this big. It's like $50, right? But it's smooth. That and all the normal stuff you put in a margarita, except instead of orange liqueur, you put in Amaretto di Sarno, right? So it makes it sweet. You know me, I'm a girly drink person. No, I'm not doing Irish car bombs in my own house, darling. I do Irish car bombs to impress the ladies out at clubs, right? And I'm too old for that shit, right? Last time I did an Irish car bomb was at PAX Unplugged 2 years ago. Yeah, I mean, there's no point in me doing them at home, right? So, yeah, and when I was on vacation, I had a couple really good Italian margaritas. I didn't even know it was a thing till vacation down in Florida, and so we made them last night for everyone. Bill Master Crafter and his wife was here. My crabby friend Steve, who doesn't play, and his wife were here, and we're all hanging out making homemade pizzas, but I got bombed. It was rough. So I'm okay now. So Yes, gotta love. I do love the ICBs, but I gotta watch myself here. But all right, so while I'm waiting for, and I'm I keep on looking up to see, if we got a login yet. Um, Virtual GradCon signups are live. Okay. Buy badges, nominal $5 fee just to cover the cost of the site. If you want to go here, the shirts are up. Okay. So the t-shirts are, and then event submissions here. So we are good to go. And if we go and see what events are in so far, we got 6 so far. 3 of them are mine though. So 2 by Les, Reno, Shadows Hard as Stone, and The Strange Stone Dwelling. I have The Reverse Dungeon by the Mysterious Tim, The Grand Joust of Altamira, The Grailcast The Experts finale show, and then Indicarus. Jonathan Dawes got in his Zeef adventure for the year, Out of Water. So far so good. So, oh, by the way, and all giveaway items are packed up, with the exception of the code. I haven't gotten the codes from Infinite Dimensions yet, which is strange. So Tino and Crazy Cyber are the 2. I'm waiting on your codes. Everything else is packed and ready to go. I'll go for tomorrow. So hey, Classic Sam, good to see you. So it's going to be an awesome con this year. Everything. It looks like Tim is coming on with his dad, which is awesome. So we're going to go way back in time here. It's going to be. Here comes Will. This is going to be a time travel episode. Just cool, man. Yeah, please. That's awesome, Carlos. That would be great. There's Will.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. You sound a little low, and I'm not sure if that's me. It may be me.
Let's see.
Whoops.
Hold on.
It could be moi. And then I got to get that off there. Boom. Okay,
Could be
good.
me too. Let me check my.
You're good now. That's good.
Oh,
that's
okay.
awesome. It's good to see you.
Looks you too, man.
Looks
How
like
you doing?
I'm doing really good. Looks like the Ever Mysterious is coming on with his dad too, which is great.
Oh, rock on.
So
that's really good.
Yeah, and I told Darling got a little excited because this is not just going to be 1E, 2E discussion. We're going to get into some 5E stuff too, with you, and that's great. So,
I need to. So hold on. Well, I got you. Did Tim confirm for his game? Is it Saturday morning?
Saturday at 7 a.m.
Saturday 7 a.m.
Yeah, it's 5 a.m. for you.
Yeah.
The reverse dungeon.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah. Mine are getting up early on the Saturday of the con. So,
well, I've gotten up the last
for the fundraisers.
Times. Yeah, the last 2 times I had to play his thing. Well, the fundraiser I think I got up even earlier for that one.
Absolutely. Because
I think it was 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning my time. Because he started at 6, right?
Yeah, during the fundraiser he did. Yeah,
okay, absolutely. So that'd be 4 o'clock my time. So and of course I didn't get up at 4, roll over and turn on the computer. Had to have a little.
Yeah, you got to get up and you got to mentally function at that point, So, I got 3 of these. I guess these are the updated.
So prints. They did show up. Okay, yes. Good.
We'll give one of these away tonight.
Cool.
Okay, and then also 1 classic D&D reprint. So we got 2 giveaways. For now, and exclamation point drawing if you want to get in on those, which is awesome. But I want to go here too, real quick. Okay. People are just texting.
Art.
Yeah, yes, Dan Smith art, which is awesome. All right. So where we're going to be eventually is, and log in here. So here's Will's Grail project. We will be here near the end of the show, showing all the stuff as we do the evolution of and John says your book is excellent, so that's great.
Awesome. Well, thank you, John. I appreciate that.
Look, Will's Patreon's $3, guys. 2 or 3 gals, $2 to $3. So
2, and I charge a whole extra $1 if you want to get in on the voting.
Yes, exactly. And so I did the $3 one. So very cool.
Hey, gentlemen,
Tim and John. Tim, look, he's got his hair slicked back.
I just was thinking it was combed.
Oh,
well, nice. Yeah. That's why you get it cut really short because
that's where I did give it a wet hand over the top to make it a little bit neater because we're talking about
What the heck? Why does that keep on doing
You're looking real skinny though.
Yes, he's
That's what happens. You start getting more and more like a corpse when you study necromancy.
John, how you doing? Doing okay, John?
Yeah, he has more hair because he shaved his beard.
Oh, he put it
That's
up there.
true. Yeah.
So,
Get a little bit of glue.
pool parties are awesome there, Bones. Yeah, I'm going to one on 4th of July. So, hey, no. That's it. Hey, LJ, good to see you. And I'm glad you had fun yesterday. And thank you for, whoops. Oh, man, I hit wrong buttons there, left and right. Whew, jeez. So, Dark Arts, when the game comes out, there's a line about, like, what's coming. And one of the lines it says has a class in it. Now, I'm going to ask two questions of both of you, of all three of you, and the audience. So, we go way back. What is the number one thing everyone's clamoring for in the very early editions of Dragon Magazine?
Necromancer.
No.
Anti-paladin.
No.
Witches.
Yes. The
Really?
witch. The
Witches.
witch. So
Dragon number 5.
Now, here's question number 2. Who wrote this article?
I
Len
did.
Lakofka.
It's a trick question.
I did.
Nobody wrote it.
We're going all the way back to Dungeon 5, which is one of the earliest we've ever done. So,
It's back there.
well, are you ready for this? This shows you how screwed up they were back in the day. Page 4. We received this manuscript over 15 months ago and have been unable to establish the identity of the author.
Oh no.
If he or she is reading this, please step forward and receive your just reward.
Which was a free copy of Dragon number 5.
I told you, Jay, it was me.
Yes.
I'm the real one.
Right?
Yeah, and you were 10 years old when you did it. Yeah, that too.
I
Sex
was
and
well
D&D
ahead
too.
of my time.
Yeah.
Ahead of my
The
time.
term you're
LJ.
looking for is protege.
There ain't
right?
no way you were born.
No,
LJ.
prodigy. Prodigy, not protege.
Yeah. What year does this come out? 77? Something like that. Dragon 5?
It's got to be early. Well,
Yeah.
I think 75 is when they started No. Just Strategic Review. Well, Strategic Review is early 70s.
That's kind of cool.
See, now you got me wondering. Now I wonder when Dragon number 1 came out.
Yeah, we could take a look at those dates. Someone will quote that out there. But look, so here it is, the very first, ever, which is neat. Witch. Now, this is not the witch that Tim used. Okay, this is not the Tim Death Witch. All right, we go further in a couple. I just wanted to show you. It's got some
76.
stuff. Yeah, 76. My gosh, High Secret Order. Star Wars isn't even out yet. High Secret Order witches it talks about and their powers. But the one that really gets things rolling for us is in Dragon 20. All right. So in Dragon 20, as we're talking about the dark arts, the witch really comes to fruition here as a new look at witches. Page 11. So as we get down to this, we really see the class starting to take form. This is the form that Tim would throw against us in the early.
No, I used the later one.
I thought this is the one with the flesh removal and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's the one. The one I used was the one with the white
114?
cover. Yeah.
All right. Well, I thought it was this one.
Disintegrate flesh. What a
Yeah.
good spell.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this one. Ronald Pear.
They're really similar. They're real. Those are
Yeah.
almost like.
So this is early. Hey Patrick, this is really early in Dragon. It's 20. We don't
Dragon 20.
20. Now the one that Tim's talking about is number 114.
Yeah.
Okay, which is really it's got this by the way was the most risque cover they had, and they were worried about it. As you can see, it was very risque for the time. And
That's must be why it stuck out in my memory.
Yes. So 114 is from 86. Now, I thought you were running witches well before this. I thought you were using the other witch.
I may have.
Yeah, I think so. I
do like them.
Yeah. My guess, I'm almost positive that you ran a lot of stuff with the other witch, and just your memory stinks now.
No.
Yes, it does. So
All right.
yeah.
So
Good.
is that set up so that boys and girls can be a witch?
No.
Okay.
No. They're all females. Yeah,
Boo.
they're all females here. Absolutely.
They have they allow for warlocks, but they don't have the same powers generally.
They don't.
I see, because I was looking, I was unable to find. I'm sure everybody else will know. I was unable to find an actual warlock, for AD&D.
Well, they would just be the same class, just called
That's what I.
different-
That's what I would figure. So, but
So look at all the people that were in on this. Bill Mulhausen's article was revised and edited by Kim Mohan, Tom Moldvay. This version has been further expanded by Roger Moore. Right, so it's like this has got the royal treatment here on this witch. So, what's the giveaway today? Will's Raven's Rook Roost book, right? Or and a choice of all classic D&D reprints. Yep, that I have. So there you go. So 2 giveaways. Oh yeah, absolutely. So please hang in there. Enjoy the discussion. So John, yeah, go ahead.
Trying to remember to ask you about whether or not you'd gotten those.
Yeah, it's okay. I did, and I'm sorry if I didn't tell you that.
No, that's all right. We're 2 old guys trying to remember stuff. It's all right.
So, by the way, everyone, if you are new to the stream, like LJ is and some others, you may not know that there's Tim's dad, John, with us tonight, who played for 15 years of my campaign every Thursday. John, what was your number one phrase as a DM you would say to us before you'd start DMing?
The number one
phrase you would say over.
You would always say,
"You're dead. What do you do next?"
Yes, exactly. You're dead. What do you do next? That was always what John would say when he started, which was really funny. But yes, John, did you ever get into any of these? Like, I know you may have like dancing paladins and stuff, but did you ever get into uses of any of the witches early on?
I don't remember running them or having them in campaigns, but I have always liked the idea of witches. I also like the idea of warlocks that should, of course, be more powerful than witches.
Oh, John. John. John is joking.
No, I'm not.
Always on single digits, yes. Oh, by the way, so we had a fun game yesterday. The Overgourd, it was fun. Check it out on video. Thank you all for the support for that. It was Mike asked me to run it for Zambies, and we did, and we had a good time. So, yep.
I think they're fun to have in the game, especially if they're not the super diabolical, and they're just the little bit diabolical, a little bit more realistic.
Absolutely.
I saw it because I have one in the city state, and then I also had one more recently. Jay, you picked it out pretty fast, but nobody else did.
Yeah. I got a sniffer for them, you know. So in the early days here, the witch is something that never makes it to the mainstay books ever. There's no publication really that on the witch early on. Now we all know that this, which by Timothy Brannan, which I have here, it's in PDF, and you get it for like $5 on DriveThruRPG. And he's got them for like all the way through 4th edition. He doesn't have a 5th, I don't think yet.
Nice.
So, and it's here. I've taken that witch and made that because I love this is a PC class. So if you've watched, Myriad has one named Voda Borda, and they tend to multi-class. Witch is its own class. You can actually mage witch thief works well. Yep.
In college, one of my players had it was a dark elf witch as a character.
Yeah, and that can be a blast too. That can be real blast.
She was.
Yeah. So it's a good class. That book is really well done, especially if you're playing Ostrich, old school OSE. Whatever you're playing, it's really really good. So I would recommend it. But the 114 witch for years is the mainstay. This dragon. This is where it goes, and they got it right. So and this is where Tim's basis is.
They're so disgustingly nasty.
Yeah.
At high levels, so nasty.
I'm surprised they never got around to doing up like some proper monster stat blocks on them either. I think that they were, I don't know.
They're not monsters.
Taboo.
Will.
I think it was.
Sure, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Misunderstood. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's hags. I don't know if they didn't do it because there was the hag and they thought it'd be too much of a crossover, but I don't think so because you could have a witch be like, a witch doesn't have to be evil.
Hags are also, they're otherworldly beings, kind of.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. So I'm surprised it never really got any kind of through all the editions. I can't think of them ever doing one.
No, and there's got to be a reason for it. Maybe because it's just too real.
Maybe, or
And
they
they're
think
just
it's
They don't want to offend people who are.
that's the only thing that I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I know in Dragon's Foot, right? They actually have in one of their, was it Footprint magazine?
Yeah,
They actually have a witch class in there.
Yep.
And also I've used the City State, the Wilderness and Judges Guild. They have a witch class also.
Yeah, there's a number of different ones that.
And the witch one's very interesting. The one in the Wilderness is interesting in that witch magic doesn't work against clerics or druids or paladins. And because they draw their power from, most of them are evil, they draw their power from some sort of, demonic or diabolic creature.
Right.
And that is why when someone has a religious, I guess, affiliation, it doesn't work against them.
Yeah.
Which makes them a little bit more nuanced, I think, instead of just being like, I'm going to whatever. They be a little bit more nuanced.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of games like, I'm pretty sure RuneQuest has something along those lines. I think RuneQuest has witches in it. And when did RuneQuest originally
80s.
come out? It was before that. Like the first version, I think, is 77. It's fairly early. Yeah.
I don't ever remember knowing about D&D and then seeing Dragon Magazine and then RuneQuest. So the earliest memories, I remember hearing of it, seeing the ads in the Dragon Magazine for it.
Yeah. I know Palladium had it. Remember the Palladium fantasy game? I used to like that. I used to steal so much stuff out of there. Like I ported over all the their alignment system from Palladium. I used that for a while because there were more of them and they fleshed them out a little bit more. Like I think each of their alignments had like 20 things they would and wouldn't do. So it's like giving you examples. It's like, this guy will stab you in the back. This guy will steal your money. Sort of thing.
So the reason this ties in real well with the game yesterday is Jakui, who was the crone that kind of was tied into the Overgord's power, was a witch. She wasn't really a mage. She was more of a witch. And she had candles burning inside that gave her extra powers. Yeah, and you know how that is.
Witches candles.
Yeah, witches candles and stuff. And she had a vanity mirror in there and all sorts of stuff. Kind of got lost in trend. And I'm showing some pictures from Brannon's publication. He must have gotten permission. Larry Elmore loves drawing up witches. So these are both Elmores, right? So Larry's really going to town on doing witches. And those are two of them that he has that are.
That poor lady's being swallowed by a dragon.
Yeah, exactly. A dragon head wearing that. It's pretty cool. So early on, the witch, and we've always had a witch aspect in our game going back to the 80s, mostly because of Tim.
Sorry.
That's okay. or my witch, Norina, what happened to that? What happened to your character with Norina? He's back now though because of a witch.
Yeah, he got aged 100 years.
Hey Curtis.
Oh,
well, yes. He got aged like 10. Was it 10 die 10 years? Or is it 100?
It's 10 to 100, I think.
Yeah.
How did she do that? Does she have
a spell? Wither.
Spell.
Oh, okay. All right.
High secret order witch spell. Yeah, it's right in this. It's right in this.
I think you have to be 16th level or higher. I think high secret orders is that 16th or higher?
Or is it 13th or 16th? Yeah,
13th or higher. It's bad. It's bad.
If you're human.
Well, yeah, it's bad. Almost,
it could be an inconvenience depending on what type of demi-human you are.
But they probably add another 10. It's probably like 1,000. 100 to 1,000 for an elf. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Add an extra.
I think I did that in the Tomb of Tang the Horrific. I think I did because there's the gems in there that age you, And I think I always went through and said, screw that. If you're an elf and you're going to get away with just a couple of years, it's like it's all equivalent.
So as we discussed the development early on of dark arts, this is where it starts, the witch here, because there's I don't count the anti-paladin as dark arts, right? It has some, but this is it. Then there's no necromancer in first edition, which drove me crazy. And I'm like, there should be one.
Mhm.
There's
There should be.
necromantic spells, and then they tried addressing that. But I'm going to step back to Dragon 26. Now, why do you say that? I want to show something, the genius of our. All right, I'm going to watch. Curtis is on. I'm going to throw him for a little loop here. My good friend, Leonard Lakofka. There you go. He knew what direction I was going. This is in 26. It's called, this is by Leonard. It's a Bazaar the Bazaar. This is not even a Lehman's Tiny Hut, so it gets missed.
Blueprint for a Lich.
The Blueprint for a Lich. Now, this appears also in Best of Dragon Volume 2. You want to talk about dark arts?
It don't get no darker than that.
Leonard tells you how you can become a Lich in D&D right in this article. It's one page. It's all it is. And in fact, I think that
how hard could it be?
When Mike Saxton put together his compilation of all the articles from Len, I think he missed this one. It's actually not in there. So, and it tells you the ways to go about it and all the potion you got to put together, and it's really disgusting. But then here's what happens when you drink it, and yeah.
It's not much better than the potion of miscibility.
It's way worse. It's way worse. Like, look at this. No effect whatsoever, other than all your body hair falling out. Start over. Coma for 2 to 7 days. The potion works. Your body's prepped for lichdom. Feeble-minded until you better have someone there who's an ally of yours, or you're screwed. Yeah.
I like that. Isn't there one where you can become an undead? You're just not a lich, and you're stuck that way. Sort of
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's like, oh, you almost made it.
You better have contingency dispel magic on it.
Right.
Yeah, so just wanted to share this. We're going to talk about dark arts. Len is ahead of the curve, as we all know, coming up with another thing he puts together. So we'll talk about that shortly. So you have this. This is Len's really coming up with these ideas. Let's fast forward. This is before 114. But this is the class that now Alan Grohe said this was his basis for his necromancer, and a lot of us. Dragon number 76.
Great picture.
Yep. Dragon
Clyde.
Dragon 76. Good old Len Lakofka comes up with another wonderful article. It is one of the best ones of all time. It's on page 10. It's a Lehman's Tiny Hut.
Yo.
And here we go, and it comes up right here as there's the picture everyone knows.
Yes, I am. Want to pick up?
Roger Rao.
The Death Master. Leonard really goes to town here on telling you how this guy or gal gets created, and how nasty they are, and they're chaotic evil, and you can't be player characters.
Yep.
If you are and you become a Death Master, the DM takes it away. I mean, he would stress that in every discussion he was with us. But once again, this is pre-Necromancer, pre-second edition, in Dungeon 70, Dragon 76. And
I bet that there was something unspoken, we're not going to do this or that, because I bet it's the same reason why they didn't just call this guy a necromancer.
Right.
The same thing like with not using the witches.
It's very possible. It's very possible. It's also this pre-second edition. I think they don't know what they're going to do yet. They got all this stuff coming in these dragons, and that's where they throw it all. But they're not putting out supplemental books like in second edition, where every single thing has a splat book, right?
Right.
There's not a lot of. There's setting books that are coming out, but there's not supplements to the rules book, with the exception of Arcana. That's it, right? And after that, there's a whole gap forever.
And I think DMs could have easily just manufactured. They don't even need to articulate the details of what the guy can do to still have him an effective bad guy.
Yeah.
And I think it's almost better to not codify it where they go, I look up the rules. He can only cast 3 spells. It'd be like, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know that.
You will see every few years or so, I will run a Deathmaster as an antithesis in an adventure. I do it a lot because I throw that out there, and you're like, oh my gosh, this guy's nasty with all the stuff they can do. So look for one in the near future. There, hint. But I love this, and it's by Leonard. So you're honoring Leonard by playing this character as an antithesis. Now, note this time frame. I've created my own classes now. I created my own bounty hunter. We've used classes that have appeared in here. The Cavaliers in here. The Archer, Len's Archer's here. The Bandits in 73. So this is before 76. We've used classes already and placed them in. Yep.
The Deathmaster is really neat because it's kind of like he's necromantic, but he's really more alchemical. You know, he's a little bit more like an alchemist.
He's a mix. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, he's creating a bunch of stuff by which he uses the salves and oils, and I don't know, he boils them sometimes or he cooks them and stuff. There's lots of that.
It's Len being disturbing. Once again, he has the power of lichdom as well. So another one.
And he has some special magic items that are awesome.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And we can show some of those. Unless I went by
the art at the end of that article is nasty. It's scary.
I think I may have gone look at all those old.
No, it's like jumps to another page. I think
it does it. Let me. Did I miss it? Oh, here they are. Gauntlets of the Ghoul. They're here. Spectre Wand, Cloak of Night, Eyes of the Undead. Here we go. Withering Scythe. Okay, right here. Withering Scythe. So this weapon is +2. However, the victim must save versus poison, or also suffer loss of 1 hit point per round thereafter from a slow but powerful poison effect. It doesn't stop. It's 1 hit point till you're dead. Yes. A good Align figure.
Well, that's not good.
A good Align figure who picks it up is also subject to that. So, yes, don't think your goodies are going to take advantage of it. Curtis, you know, I miss the Len days, and that's why I love going back to this stuff. This Dark Arts, where it began and all, is just to show that, you know, they had a lot of people, especially Len. Len was ahead of the curve on a lot of stuff with his ideas. Len created the Archer, which is really the first class we ever used outside of the base classes that are in the player's handbook, right? So we really got to give him his kudos for his contributions to D&D, you know, because he did a lot for the game. So, all right, Will, what edition did you start with, Will?
I started with BX actually.
Okay.
Molvig
or Menser?
Well, no, just
Holmes?
I want to say no, not Holmes. Definitely not Holmes. Not the blue box. So like the BX, the one with the Errol Otis. I'm not sure if that is that Molvig.
Yeah, the red box, and after that's Menser. Yeah, so
Menser's the Beckme guy. Okay, all right. I started with BX, but I didn't really play it that much.
Okay.
Before I started playing Advanced, and then kind of pretty much just dived into it. Yeah,
yep, there you go. So, were your thoughts early on? Wow, they got mages and clerics and stuff, but there's just, man, I want to fight baddies. I want to fight necromancers. I want to fight.
No, when I first started out, it was basically I was just whatever the DM was rolling with and what they were throwing at me. I wasn't DMing. I didn't start DMing until I got into my teens, really. So, and you know, and my early D&D career didn't consist of me doing any of that different stuff. And then by the time I did start DMing, I would have necromancers and things along those lines. But it's like I would just make that stuff up.
I really like necromancers in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, and that's really the only one, like straight necromancer villain I've run is only running it in that game. And it's in one of the classic published modules they have. But I've taken that idea and I want to eventually inflict it on someone. Maybe someone very close to you two.
When I was doing necromancers just out of the gate, basically all I did is I took a cleric and I reversed them. Is basically what it came down to. Is like, I mean, like, well, that spell does this. Well, it should do this for a necromancer. It was real easy to do. You know, you just flipped what was happening with it. So
maybe I'm not saying this with my awful grasp of the English language, but if it wasn't for John and Tim and starting to play with them and knowing that the resources that Dragon provided, particularly, the early Dragon magazines were just like, there's some genius discussion in there from Gary and Rob Kuntz and Leonard and Ed Greenwood's putting in articles out there.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing to do with Forgotten Realms, right? In the early on, we had access to it. And I think that's why the flavor, we were early on, or like, we can expand beyond just what the classes they have in the game are. I think that was I knew that right from the beginning, and that made it fun. That time, like, and I tell this all the time, in Tim City State, where I'm there with my character, my poor man's Gazumba, Kixana Wortley from his game. It's my Thunder Clark mage there.
Who is still nothing to. He's not a slouch at all.
No, he's not. But he's in there. They get invited to this grand event with all these high level characters there, and he's talking, and the guy's like, "Hey, how are you?" Who was that? Brisbar or Gorbel?
Yeah.
The Brisbar, right?
Yes,
Sir Brisbar. Yeah. Hey, how you doing? And this guy's an anti-paladin, and I'm like sitting there just talking to him like it's nothing, and not knowing that the character's actually trying to. He's got the 3-stage poison thing going on because it's an art for him. He wants to see how he can see who he can kill.
Don't go in the back room.
Don't go in the back room. Yeah, the back room's where the gas is going. You can eat and drink the food, but don't go in the back room. It was genius, and that with witches here and there. And I fought Gazumba himself. Gazumba and Fensick fought a witch who had 12 bodies stored so that when she died, she could go back in. So we had to kill her 12 times or 13 times.
Right. She was magic jarred.
She was magic jarred. And also she had like 6 juggernauts. It was disgusting.
Oh, jeez.
It was her lair. She was like a 20th level.
Yeah. So we wall to force them all off to get them out of the fight. And then it was just disgusting.
That's the same encounter I ran at college that ended a campaign.
Yeah.
It ended.
But not me.
But now you get.
Not me. Not Hawking Gazumba and them. But to show that some wonderful things are going early to develop these dark arts, which are lacking in the base rules. Right? Okay. Isn't that now, Curtis? You know why I'm so messed up and skewed? It's because of this guy, the ever mysterious Tim here. 6 juggernauts. Imagine anyone putting 6 juggernauts in their counter.
And Zor.
Yes, and Zor.
Who was an anti-paladin on a nightmare with a lance of disintegration.
Absolutely.
That's where the Lance of Disintegration first showed up.
That's when we survived that. So let's fast forward to 2nd edition. They get their act together finally. So, but before that, 2nd edition comes out and they have. I don't like it. They've taken and they put in all the wizard spells in different spheres, right? So, you can just take the necromancer spells and they can cast all the other mage spells except the kick-ass evocation or whatever. I'm like, I hate that.
It was a little too vanilla.
It was.
I don't know. I liked it. I liked it too because 2nd edition was the first edition where it started. 2nd edition starts me playing clerics because you could start. Yeah, you start critiquing them. You start making them a little bit unique. Whereas in AD&D, all the uniqueness had to come out of the game, had to come from you and your DM and whatnot. There was nothing that was pre-done. And so, and that's the one thing I liked. I remember distinctly when I bought 2nd edition, and one of the things that stood out to me from reading it in the hobby store as I'm perusing through it was just that. And I was like, about time, and I didn't care. I could have cared less about the monks, never played them, had no desire to play them. So I was like, yeah, whatever. It's fine. I probably didn't even notice it until somebody probably pointed it out to me.
And assassins are going too.
Yeah. And I never played assassins anyway. I always thought assassins were, basically they were, I thought they should have been tougher. I always thought assassins should have been tougher than they were. But that's just
shaking his head.
No, because assassins aren't the best fighters. They're just really good at making sure you die.
Yeah, but they should have. Well, they only. It's like if I remember correctly now, they had, aside poisons, they had basically the backstab that could be a
outright kill.
outright kill, right?
Right, but it's not
That
necessarily
was it.
backstab. It's not necessarily backstab.
Surprise
It could
attack.
be they arrange an accident for you where something falls on you and crushes
See,
somebody.
that would, but any smart character could do that. I don't know. I just never saw anything great about the assassins.
And they're
Yeah.
spies. Really, they're spies.
Yeah, yeah, okay, that would be good. I always thought that like a wizard would make a way better
So-
assassin.
Here's the thing. 2E. I'm not saying I hate I love a lot of stuff about 2E. I just don't like this. Well, you can have an evoker class and you can have a conjure. I hate it. I hate that. I have a magic user, and before second edition came out, I was working on the necromancer. So the Deathmaster's out, and like I could take a lot of class spells, some from other spheres, and I can make a necromancer class. And that's where this binder comes, and that's where this class comes. And from that, we have a spell list, and we have multi-class options. Just like I back convert everything to first edition, Dale. That's what happens. But this thing has evolved over the last 30 years because as things came out, also as I got my hands on this, which was almost impossible to get your hands on, and I was like, because PDFs didn't exist, right, for years.
Yeah,
You just didn't have a PDF of a book. Now I can't find where is it? Here it is.
you talk about the necromancer's handbook. Yeah.
Here
You
it
would have think they would have printed more of that sucker.
It is so rare. And you want to talk about money? What's this? $150 on eBay for a crappy copy?
Mhm.
Yes. There it is, the complete book of necromancers.
A lot of those, I am assuming that a lot of those second edition splat books were
Limited.
low print runs.
Yeah.
Because most of them have such a hefty price tag on them.
It does. But this was good because it kind of further melded in what I was trying to do. Now at the same go ahead, Tim.
I was going to say they're easier to accidentally throw away by some family member who's not paying attention because it looks more like a magazine-ish thing. It looks more magazine-ish rather than a hardcover book or something.
It is.
Those
It is,
things
Troy.
happen.
I have that one as well too. It is. And if you want to ships in the sea and you want the combat rules for them, just go to Ghost of Saltmarsh. It's the exact same word for word.
Yeah.
They rip it right off from a ships in the sea. Bastards. So at the same time, now Alan Grohe couldn't be on tonight, but here's Alan's necromancer class. His goes back to 2005. It's funny how Alan's and mine are close in the necromancy. But Alan has a necromancer class. If you want, you can ask him directly, the Grow Dog, if you want to, get a copy of it. But from this complete book of necromancers, there's a lot of spells, and there's also a thing called the Price, which I've added in here with special abilities. It's a really good book. It gives you the ability now to add a bunch of spells, and this is in the glory days, I think, because I don't know what happens to a Necromancer 3rd edition. Barbarian Handbook is hard to find too. So is the Gladiators book, the Darkside Gladiators book. I don't know how I got my hands on that too, John. I got that for like $50 in pristine condition. I was lucky. There's a lot of those great books. People say, "Oh, well, why weren't they so popular back then?" There was too many books. You're a kid, and they have green books, brown books, and
limited resources.
Limited resources. I can't get all this stuff now that I can now.
Not to mention some of them, like the core class ones. Okay, those were for players. A lot of that other stuff was DM centric. You know what I mean? And when you're a DM, it's like, well, you've got so much stuff to spend your money on, So
to show you how rough it is to create a class on its own with a spellcaster, so that there's enough spells like a mage. These are all the books I had to pull, not counting Player's Handbook and Arcana, which aren't on this list, which are the base spells, but we got Complete Book of Necromancers. We got 3rd edition stuff on here, Champions of Ruin, Eldritch Might 2, Eldritch Sorcery, the Excalibur Supplement, Grey Net Spellbook, Magic of Faerun, Oriental Adventures, there's 1st edition, Player's Handbook 2, Player's Handbook 3, Ed stuff, Pages from the Mages, the Player's Option, Relic and Rituals 2, 3rd edition. Ed's Seven Sisters book, Flesh Shiver, comes from Ed's Seven Sisters book, one of my favorite spells of all time. Tome of Magic, Complete Wizard's Handbook, Wizard Spell Compendium 1, and there you go. And spells out of Dragon magazines. I call that packet spells because they were photocopied in one big packet back then. Because once again, we didn't have PDFs of Dragon magazines back in the day. Yeah. So that is all the locations that I've gotten to make my Necromancer class. So it has evolved over the years. I'd say if you could make 6 to 8 spells for each level, up to 7th, you can make a good Necromancer just out of 6 to 8. You don't need to have 30 spells. I think we have like 20 to 30 spells in levels going up. So. Will, what happens later for your editions, like for an undead caster? Like, what do you do through 2nd all the way up to 5th? What happens? Anything?
Well, in third edition they had stuff for necromancers, if I remember correctly. But through 3rd, to tell you the truth, I was playing a lot through 3rd. I wasn't running through 3rd, and that's back when I owned my coffee shop. So
you're not, yes.
Yeah, so it's like getting me to play was like very hard to do. It's like, as you can imagine, it's like everybody. I used to tell everybody too, because they would come in and wanting to play. They would ask, "Do you play Magic? You know, the card game?" I'm like, "No." I totally lied to them. I don't do it, because everybody and their grandmama wanted to. So it's like every once in a while I would play a game here and there. So, but I wasn't really running. But the same thing, even when I would run, I still went back to my old standby of basically all I did is now with clerics in 3rd edition were great because you had your domains that finally came together. So all you had to do is, unlike what I was doing before where I was just grabbing and reversing spells and stuff, I just took the domains and then I added in stuff to them like I wanted to, just to build the domain. And oh yeah, there you go. And to tell you the truth, I did that more for my character than I did for running, So because even at that point, my DMing had tapered off. I DM'd a lot through high school and through my early 20s, and then by the time I was later on, I was back to being a player for a while there.
Happiness. Go ahead, Tim.
I was gonna talk about a necromancer. I have another version that was written. I think it was by the guy that wrote the Halls of Tease and Fane.
Yeah.
Louis Pulsifer.
Yeah, I have it. Hold on.
Yeah.
I have that one. I think you may have given it to me years ago. I know I have it here.
We had this discussion not too long ago, and I was looking it up.
Yeah.
And
complete book, which
came across it and looked for it.
There it is. I got it. See, I got a lot in these folders. The great thing is I never get rid of my folders, so I can go back to the old computer and look for the old folders. Here, Necromancer, an AD&D character class by Louis Pulsifer. Right? So here's a third one, and showing, sacrifices and...
Dragon's Foot has one too at their Footprint magazine. They have a Necromancer class as well.
So there are a lot of, if you want to create your own, there's a lot of references you can do. Mine, Gordogs, Pulsifers, Dragon's Foot, that's 4. That's 4 that you can make a starting point with to create, and also the Deathmaster. You can create a really cool Necromancer no matter what edition you're playing. Because I really think it's a class. It should have its own class in every edition. That's just me.
Yeah. And then by 3rd edition, like I said, the domains, essentially, you take the death domain and, well, you're right. That's a necromancer is what that is. So
I like the it should have come with a price. You have the morbidity, how you look.
Right here.
As you get more powerful in Magic, you should have negative effects.
Exactly. I think that's the one thing that I like a lot. I'll ring Tim's bell here on Warhammer.
Yes.
The games that have where Magic can have a price for doing it. Now, D&D's price was you'll probably die before you see any real power. But if you make it, you get to a point. There's definitely a tipping point where it's like, well, there's a wizard. He's gonna blow everything up. Everybody's dead.
Exactly, and that's where the Necromancer comes in. So the complete book of Necromancers has that effect where you get these special abilities, and it mentions the dark powers come out of the idea came from Ravenloft rule system, right? Where and they convert that into all these things that can happen in a positive light for necromancers. But with that is every time you have one of them, you have a price, which is look, you have any Gith Yankai necromancers in here. That's pretty disgusting. Where punishments, handicaps, physical deformity can happen. Look, club foot. Yeah, really disgusting stuff can happen.
That's awesome. That's
you become less and less society able, right? Yeah. Second mouth appears at the base of the skull. Yeah, really neat stuff. And all bad too. All of it's bad. Insanities. So the one, and you don't have to take the special ability when you get to a certain level, and then you'll have a price. Now, we have one player character who has one, and that is our friend. Oh my gosh, Gramercy Riff, right? And he's named after the gang from the Warriors. Okay, he looks like the guy, the 7-Up guy from Live and Let Die with the top hat, right? That the voodoo guy. What's that?
Oh, the voodoo guy?
The voodoo guy who did the 7-Up commercials.
Yes.
Right. Oh. So that's what he looks like. And but he has a price where he has to sleep underground or he loses powers for the day. So he has to find so he can't camp out with the group. He's got to find a hole and dig it underground now, which is really hysterical.
Can they just carry it? See, this is where you get a coffin. You just dig a hole and you shove them in the hole.
Well, yeah, but if you're
in the night, right?
If you're in the middle of a swamp adventuring, what are you going to do?
Drown?
Yeah, exactly.
What you do is you have soil in the bottom of the coffin. You put them in it. You shut the door and you flip it over.
There it is.
Yeah. So power related jerky. It's really well done. And so I added that in. Look, hates all contact with the living. Only tolerates undead or extraplanar allies. There's some really sheds own blood. You got to do that too. I mean, there's all sorts of bad things you have to do. So they did a really good job with this book. If you get it on PDF from Drive-Thru, it's probably not that expensive. Unless you can, because these books now are crazy, ridiculous on cost on eBay. Yeah. So.
Although if you have a high quality PDF, you can go to your local printer.
Yep, true.
Get yourself a hard copy if you want.
Absolutely, great point. So you'll see necromancers in my game. You'll see necromancers as PCs because I allow them. There's no good ones. There's neutral, and the most infamous one is who? Tim. Salen made me do it. Salen. He's a cleric necromancer, and we've talked about him a lot. Salen is the deputy guildmaster of the Gravediggers and Embalmers Guild in Greyhawk. It's Bill's character, half elf, who's afraid of everyone and everything. Yes. But he found in one adventure, this is my 25-year plot arc, he found a crown and he kept it, and it was the crown of this megalomaniac Tulsa Doom-like character from the Sewell early days named Ruggiero Bloodmoon, and this is pre-streaming, and he became that person and tried taking over the whole of Greyhawk.
How many years did he have that match get him without doing anything with it?
15 in real life.
Oh, wow. That's
substantial. I wonder what this does. Let's try it on.
Yes. So they took it from him. The Night Watchman, led by Walt's character Alphonse, got it away from him and said, "We're taking this from you. It's too powerful." And then in a long chain of adventures I did, Old Mother Grub, as everyone knows, Old Mother Grub's a vampire, right? In that inn at Old Mother Grub's, and then there's all these other worshippers of the evil, Corel worshippers and all. They all allied together to try and make Salen become the leader of the world, right? Like Tulsa Doom-like character, because this character had the power, the gift of just making people kill themselves, and it was a great storyline. I wish it was streamed, but this is years before we were into doing that. John, would you want to say something?
No.
Yeah, no. John was part of it.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I remember Salen. Yeah.
Yes. And here was the funniest thing. This is Bill. Bill did this. I didn't do this. This is the group, the Iron Brigade, the highest level charactering group we have in Greyhawk. His character Salen was part of that group. Every time someone got an arm or limb or hand cut off, he'd sneak the piece of it. So he had 3 pieces of Alan's character, Milana, her night character. 2 pieces of Mark's character, Railstone Gradavis. So when he became this evil megalomaniac, he cloned them all, and he had them as his henchmen. It was freaking poetic. At the levels they were when the cut off piece he had taken. So I used all that against him because he liked collecting that stuff. It was hysterical. And no problem, Mike, and thank you for yeah, it was great. Well, John, you remember that fight? That was one of the most epic fights we've ever had.
Yeah,
you had Abdul.
That'd be a
Petronius.
great,
it was great.
Alternate universe thing.
Yeah.
Or they go into an alternate universe and he won.
It could be. Yeah, he'd be like running all of kind of like a Doctor Who episode where you slip through time. You're like, oh no, and try to go back and you can't. Yeah.
The mists don't take you to Ravenloft. They take you here.
They take you here.
Yeah.
But that was
kind of the same.
We finished that, and it was in my old house, so it was pre-2010. Well before that, we finished. I think we finished that like 2008 or 9. Was the final part of that, and it had started when that group started in the 90s. So that whole chain.
Oh man, you just gave me an idea.
Dude, you gotta have long-term campaign plots. But just note that's the most known necromancer in my game. There's probably about 15 to 20 PC necromancers in the groups. Maybe not even that many. So just note I allow them as PCs, and they can multi-class. Necromancer Thief is good. Necromancer Assassin.
See, that sounds good.
Yeah. Alan's got a Dark Elf.
The Assassin's Guild would never allow that.
Yeah. Well, necromancers aren't allowed in
Well, then
Greyhawk.
they could just everybody they kill would end up being a minion.
You can't have that. Sometimes they have techniques. They have to kill them in ways that look like accidents.
Oh,
come on! Think of your professionalism.
That's not fun.
No, Vampire Thrommel. No,
they're not just murderers. They don't just kill anybody.
That's right. It's business, strictly business.
So, John, what was Abdul's thoughts on Salen all those years? I got to know. Because Abdul was your pure lawful good cleric mage.
I think he was hoping at some point he could get Salen to see the light.
Yeah.
And turn into something not really good, better than he was.
Yeah.
He was such a coward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
He was.
So while we have it, all right.
That does make you seem less threatening when you're a coward. So
yeah, it sure does, doesn't it?
So
they don't see it coming then. You know what I mean?
And everyone note that like Abdul has a huge position now in Greyhawk. He is with Jalarzi's friend and student Mariel. They're like together. He's lawful good. There's a lot of pure lawful goods in that group. And when they finished and they were successful, they felt sorry for Salen. They didn't permanently kill him. They got the crown off him and all. He got killed, but they got him back to his good old self.
He didn't do it.
Yeah, that's the thought on there.
The crown made me do it.
The crown made me do it. But if you all remember, they found the tongue of Rogero Bloodmoon in the first year of Virtual GrowCon that Venarian Vord stole.
Mm-hmm.
So that's still going on. Yep, absolutely. And in this adventure I'm doing now, they have a gem. While we have your dad, I have to ask this question. All right, you're all going to laugh. It was your dad's idea. Your other super powerful character is a druid thief named Petronius Niger Took in Greyhawk, right? He's 12. What possessed him? You're going to love this, Will. What possessed him to take Junior, the half-orc, half-halflings, ball sack and turn it into a tobacco bag?
Well, he's an artist underneath.
I can see that.
It was just taken by the shape.
It's already formed in the right shape.
That would be so easy to turn into something good and useful, and also a little bit of a trophy.
Some people work in clay. Others.
You know what I did to the last guy?
Yeah. So that was one of the funniest things because none of us saw it coming, and we're like, "What?" Yes, but of course, 8 years later, Junior got resurrected from it. So yeah,
because Jay is always mean to his players.
I'm always mean. So yes, give it to the Necromancer. You don't have to carry the body back to have them raised. So yeah, the Necromancer. There's a great spell on Oriental Adventures. It's called Reanimation. Okay, it's lower level. It's like 4th, and you can take a corpse and reanimate it so it walks with you. It's in my Necromancer list. That's one of the Oriental Adventure spells.
Well, that's a very practical thing.
Yeah.
It's not really necromantic. It's more whatever you would use to make golems. You're just basically getting it to move, right?
Right. I don't think they're technically alive, but yeah, maybe they're
right. But you're getting to move, so you don't have to carry them.
Yeah. So those are the days.
Can I just add another?
Please.
Outside thing. I can't tell which way I need to lean. Anyway, I have been writing a novel now and again for a long time, and some of these characters are in there. Sometimes, well, almost always with different names, but they're all recognizable by anybody who played with them. And one of the interesting things is that Abdul falls in love, and this wretched villain is trying to take her away from him. And so he has to go find a number of things. So he ends up going to another town where he finds a guy who is making casks and barrels, who loved her. And he gets him to come back and to marry her. Her brothers put her into a nunnery. So he gets her out of the nunnery. And the climax is when he kills the guy. But there's a God, I'm getting old.
We're all getting old, John. Don't worry about it.
The Hobbit character is
Petronius.
Petronius is there with him and is helping him out and all that stuff. And they have what I think is interesting banner and talk back and forth. It ends up after Abdul kills this guy in a single combat that
she's never good
Petronius and another guy who's a cop. He was Walt's character. They meet him outside, and
Alphonse.
They go back to celebrate the
victory.
The wedding is coming up. But I find them interesting. That's one of the things I really liked about D&D from the beginning, is that it gave you an opportunity to stir up your imagination.
Absolutely.
And do kind of pretty much whatever seemed sensible, logical to you, and fun and interesting. So anyway.
No, definitely. Those were our first. So Will, I just got a hold of the Free State Rock box set. I'm like, we're running a group in here, and that's the first group, the Iron Brigade group, and they did Return of the Eight, all the city adventuring in there, the Thieves Guild Wars that are in there, right? And they did all the Expeditions Ruins of Greyhawk, and so also
there's a ton of stuff in there.
Also, our first fundraiser that only you and me streamed on, right?
That's right.
When we fought a Miracle Chaotic for the first time, and that was John had played, and that was the first time Anna ever played in my game. She played Mariel that night. So so a lot of absolutely, Scott. It's great to see. I didn't know John was there. It's really great to get him on here and tell the stories, because it all relates into the what has happened in the campaign over all these 43 years. Some great stuff. And now it's a shame that John's not close enough and can't play on every Thursday night now, but those were legendary times. Thank you so very much. So
and how many fundraisers has it been now? 5.
I know.
Think about it. If it was a kid.
Yeah, absolutely. This is our 4th virtual GrowdCon, or going to be our 6th, right? 6th fundraiser coming up.
Hey Jay, what day am I running my adventure on?
Saturday morning, October 7th, 7 a.m.
There you go.
Thank you. I already asked him. I sent the email, and after I sent the email, I was like,
yes, the reverse dungeon.
Well, while I'm writing the
Inverse
email, it was like, I'm going to see you today. I think I said it more for me to try and remember than anything else.
Yeah, I've been meaning to send an email out to everybody.
Yeah, because I have to put in my what I'm gonna. I still don't know what I'm running yet. I had a couple of ideas I was kicking around, and
is there a theme? No, it's not a theme. That's not thematic.
No, we didn't. There's no theme. This is this is Greyhawk Con.
At Greyhawk Con, the theme this year is just Adventures in Greyhawk. From the Greyhawk Adventures book, the artwork is an ode to that by Dan Smith, right? And that is the theme this year. And hey, Phoenixy, and note this, John, DM John, different John than Greyhawk Con is 24/7 those 3 days. There's games in the middle of the night. Armin is streaming from New Zealand in the middle of the night, Friday night and Saturday night, and we'll need signups. So it's 24/7. So we'll have late night games going on this year. Tim runs an early game. Also, Rob.
Phantom, don't I know it?
Yeah, Phantom and Jay.
What a way to start the day.
So see, Phoenixy was on here. Another John. Phoenixy's on. He's going to kick things off Friday morning early. There's going to be signups needed, a couple for that. So there's plenty of games all hours of the day, plus all the stuff that's not streamed. We're shooting for 75 events this year. So
I got to tell you that numerous, upon occasion, I've gone back and reviewed the video on YouTube that Jay posts, of the reverse dungeon that we've run before. And I laugh every single time.
It's hysterical.
It's so much funny. You guys,
that's a lot of fun to play.
So funny.
So there's a lot of really great stuff that's going to be happening this year, along with everything else that's going on with Gary Con, which is 50th anniversary, and we got to figure out how to surpass $25,400 for the fundraiser this year, right? I got some ideas. I'm working on it. So and I'm inviting a lot of big names to Virtual Grad Con this year. We got a lot going on, so we're excited, really excited about what's going to happen this year. Tim, what time do you have? Are you departing? Shortly?
I don't know. We're going to go here until we.
Okay.
Until everyone else wants to do something different up in the house.
So, start off dead work package. No. What are you, goblins? Mostly goblins? Yes. They're mostly goblins, Jeff.
Well, no. Well, some of us were reincarnated.
They're goblins, but they had a sponsor from down below in the dungeon. There's some lower levels, the Dark Whisperer, and he got his 2 little peons to go ahead and use these rings of spell storing to do a greater reincarnation and a magic jar on each of the chosen that will be doing jobs for him. And so they started as goblins, but all of them but one was killed, and they're all bigger and better than before, but different now.
Thanks, Pat.
What is that thing I became? It's not a lizard man, but it's like
an alligator man.
That's right.
What? That's crazy.
So she's like an alligator woman, She's like, it's like a lizard man, but more alligator-ish.
She prefers, an aquatic lifestyle. Is basically, she likes soaking in a lot of water.
One's a bugbear, one's an ogrelon.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah. But the chief is still a goblin, right?
The bugbear. No, the shaman. The shaman is this goblin. That's the okay. Phantom NJ is he's the one that escaped.
Yeah. He's the only one that didn't get the new clothes, so to speak.
Yes.
What a fun time. Yes, so here it is. Badges and submit events are open. So have at it, everyone. Please. And all you need to run a game is know-how of either doing it on Discord for Theater of the Mind or doing it on a VTT. That's it. That's it. You don't have to live stream your game. Right? We're gonna have a full live streaming going on multiple channels. Don't worry about it. But this is for everyone in the community to submit games, play, and have fun. So, and there you go. And this is our 4th annual.
So easy.
Kind of got it, looking forward to some fun times. All right, so through the editions here, now we're talking about the Necromancer and how much I love them. Before we get to 5th edition, because I know I'm trying to save that for when Will's here solo, but we have one other class that appears that's kind of got, and this is a recent, and of course I don't even know where I have it here. Has a lot of dark arts aspect to it, and Bill created this because he ripped it off from Game of Thrones, right? So, yeah.
Well, not necessarily dark.
Well, it's got a lot of dark.
Only if knowledge is dark, right?
Right, exactly. And the Maester,
knowledge is neutral.
Right,
what you do with it.
Yeah, the Maester, a first edition class that we got. They're set so they can be player characters, so they can do multi-classing with either base class fighter, cleric, thief, or mage, so that they can actually do something here. No, they're not. They're not allowed to do that. But Dale, good question. But what their abilities are, they can use scrolls here as you come down here in your advanced study skills. And I added so here, dark arts. They gain the ability to deploy necromancer items as well as unleash the power stored in scrolls. They can do that if they choose it. Their scroll use is limited to spells they would be able to deploy themselves by level. So they can actually take scrolls, and we put this in for elements, and there's also one for shadow now for the shadow mages. And
that's cool.
Yeah, so they can do that. They can take, druid or whatever, so they can go that route on dark arts. But no, they can't be necromancer maesters. We don't allow that. So that's part of the thing and the abilities here. Now, is it a dark art? Subject to discussion on that. But it's definitely a playable sage class. So just wanted to share that with you, that this is the most recent. I know
this is what happens when you cross them. That's all I got to say.
That's it with Tim. So let's, with that, and now Tim doesn't do 5e.
Well, we'll see. Yeah.
What?
I could have swore I played with you once where I ran.
No, we played, and Tim didn't play in that. Tim did not play in that game show where we came in dead last.
Maybe.
Yes, you would have done much better had I been there.
I take full credit for that too.
No, we were all terrible.
I rolled so bad that entire game. It was great.
Yeah, we were terrible. So,
are they ever doing that again?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe
too bad.
Yeah, maybe it costs too much. Hey, Tiff, it's good to see you. So, this is Will's site. Well, why don't you tell us about the Greyhawk Project here?
Well, the Greyhawk Project, I used to have a blog that I was doing, regular blog, and back during the OGL BS, if you're unfamiliar with that, where it was unsure about copyright and different things was floating around. So I stopped that. So when I started back up again, what I did is I went over on the Patreon. And on Patreon, I can have it be different levels. I can have stuff be for free over there. So like all the previous material that I haven't loaded everything, because there was a lot of stuff on the last one up over there yet, but all that stuff's free if you go to, and it is actually I think it's, because I was originally going to use the alternative name of Greymoor, because Greymoor is the name that I use of the world
right
when I do publishing. So there's the world of Greymoor, and the Frostwood, and I changed the names to protect the innocent, so to speak. So it's so the Patreon. Here, I'll put it into the channel here.
Yeah, please do.
So I took all that original stuff. So this is where all the original articles that would become the Ravensrook, the Rook Roost book, because originally the bulk of that material came out in articles that was on my original blog, and that was all Rook Roost, and then it got the treatment done to it. So I don't know how long I've been doing the Patreon now, maybe about 6-8 months, something along those lines. I've gotten the bulk of everything reloaded up, but I picked up and I started doing again I do 5th edition subclasses that are specific for the world of Greyhawk. And I started off with doing warlocks and paladins for them. And I started with the warlocks actually first out the gate. Then I went to paladins, and basically because warlocks in 5th edition, essentially, it's not like a traditional warlock at all.
Can you explain it to me, please?
Sure.
I get confused on what they're trying to do here in 5th edition.
Right. So basically, a 5th edition warlock is not a witch. It's not a male version of a witch at all. Has the only connection it has to like old witch classes and mythology is the fact that to be a warlock, you have a patron who is granting you powers.
Isn't that what a cleric is?
Well, exactly. A cleric has their god is their patron, right? But the patron of a warlock is someone who lacks the power of divinity, so to speak. You could be pseudo divinity, but you can't, so like Dragatha might give you some undead power. And that could be considered a warlock. That could be your patron, and it could, give you powers. And so that's what the realm of the warlock does there. Now your patron could be a demon. It can be very traditional, but then it can also be like the kings and queens of the Fae court. Okay. They could be your patron and give you certain powers and so forth. And what they have in the player's handbooks is extremely generic, which is good. I mean, that's what that's designed to do. So the first thing I did was I went and I put up the
there's 25 of them.
There's 25 of them. And the first band of them are the ones that are the demigods and the hero gods.
Well, let's just bring one of these real good ones up here, like I use.
There you go. Let me go.
Him again?
Yeah, that guy.
So, is this character what would be considered kind of in my 1E2E game that Eric Boyd wrote, and it was in the original deities book of Forgotten Realms, a crusader of that deity? No.
Yes.
Tim says
it depends. It depends because yes and no. It depends.
Okay.
So like this particular guy, no, this is way more like a necromancer.
Okay.
Because it's really each one of these is really curtailed toward whoever their patron is, who's given them their power, and that's going to dictate how they are.
I want to talk about their psychology here. This is someone who fails to apply themselves to study, fails to learn all the
correct
thaumaturgy, and basically sucks up to someone powerful to get some bennies. That is how I think they should go. They're like
correct.
They get too much power too fast from somebody else because they didn't do it on their own. Which makes them great bad guys.
So it's a shortcut, especially priest or wizard or whatever it may be.
Yes. And this is
don't listen to me at all.
No. You're actually way closer than you know.
Okay.
Because the way that in 5th edition you have what are and I think this was in 3rd edition is where this came up. You have full casters and half casters, right? Where you have access to how many spells you can use and so forth. Well, a warlock isn't either of those. A warlock has less spells than anybody. They get a pitiful handful of spells that they can use even all the way up to like 20th level. But what they do get is a bunch of cool abilities that they have access to that they can use that are then curtailed according to your patron and how your patron is. And then like if you do it out of the player's handbook, there's a bunch of unique, generic ones that you can take and use that are non-specific. Like there's one that's kind of a warrior base sort of thing, and one that's kind of for a semi-spellcaster sort of deal, and one that has demonic pets and jazz like that. So, and basically you've got these guys here are very specific off of whoever they're serving. Like the guy for the Iusian ones, they get ability where they can spit.
Like the spell from first edition.
That's what exactly. So they have that as an ability that they're able to do, and the reason they get these abilities is because, like Tim said, they weren't studying.
Right.
They don't have the full repertoire of
their dedication is more physical.
Yeah, because this Black Hand was a spell in Eyes Evil book. The Black Hand negated the paladin turning and all that stuff. Yeah, it's pretty genius actually to take spells and turn them into a spell-like effects, right? So here's another one. Let's just do Caius. Why not?
Caius, yes. And it's the same thing. So now this guy here this is all about undead and your connection to the undead and what you can do with them. And so again, it is a specialized. Yeah, it's a specialized. The spells that you can choose from, they have just like with clerics that started when they started doing the domains, you had specific spells that you could choose that didn't count against your known spells. They were just like kind of given spells, and they have specific ones that they have access to. And again, those are all curtailed by who and what their patron is, and what does he allow them to do, and what does he give to them.
That's it. That's cool. What? So when they put this into 5th edition, the Warlock, did they make it so that I'm assuming they made it so that this would actually happen? Is that what you've done other people would do? But is it happening in like a lot of other supplemental books? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, there's tons in different places. Tons of different places. The only difference is that nobody's doing Greyhawk.
Right. How about Joe
everybody?
Block?
Joe Block did. RVN did.
Okay.
So to an extent, I'm not really sure how specialized Joe's were. I don't think he didn't break it down like I did. He had stuff for clerics and what have you, but it was all the generic what have you, to my understanding. I could be wrong. I know Joe did a ton of feats and stuff that are Greyhawk specific. So, but if you go, there's also a bunch of stuff, that generic stuff that you can get a hold of on, say, like the DM's Guild and what have you. Yes. The Earth Dragon.
See, there's all these baddies that you're not, if you're a 5th edition player, you ain't going to find this stuff with those bad deities, especially if you're going to run an Age of Worms campaign like 5th edition for Caius, or you're going to run from the Slavers reference and the Earth Dragon's in there in 5th edition. Oh my gosh, it's perfect. You know?
Yeah.
Oh.
And this is, it matches up. What makes sense to me is like it matches up with, in older editions, how powerful your god is dictating what type of spells that you can have and have available to you, and so forth. Warlocks are the cheapest end as far as a spellcaster goes. That's why I thought they were a perfect matchup for the pseudo heroes and the demigods. And they don't have, they can give you a little bit of something, but they can't give you access to all that really sweet magic. So it made complete sense that these would be the type of guys that you would go to make a deal with to get a little bit of power. And there's so many more that could be done,
right?
That I just didn't dive into, because I could still be doing the Warlock ones, and I could still revisit it and do a Vecna. I would love to do a Dragotha, and there's just so many different other people that could be done.
So Raskill says the 5th Warlocks only work if your DM is committed to short rests.
Yes. Most of but you see, now you got to understand the long and short rest mechanic. Right. So long rest mechanic is, if you want to consider it that, 8 hours, everything resets. So basically this goes into the easy mode or the video game mode. Short rests are just technically supposed to be, think of it like a breather. where you're able to sit down, rest for a little bit. And technically
Catch your
what it's
breath.
giving you, yeah, technically what it's giving you back, it's giving you back a little bit of hit points. You have a reservoir, it's called hit dice, like actual that you would roll, that you can use during short rests to heal, but you can only use as many as you have. So, and certain classes have more of them, and more martial classes and stuff. So, and the thing that made the warlock one of its special things is a lot of its powers, instead of resetting on a long rest, it reset on a short rest.
Got it.
So you could sit around for an hour, hanging out, chill out, rest, and then some of your special abilities come back. Whereas the wizard or the cleric that had burned up their spells, they're not going to get those back. They have to
Another example of cutting corners.
Exactly.
So I noticed something here. I think it's just ironic though, but I have a spell I created called Washri's Blessing. Will, hopefully it's an ode to me.
Of course it is. I have. I don't know if it's verbatim. I didn't.
It's not verbatim. It's not, because mine though, the target gets warts growing all over their bodies and stuff, and it's yeah, but that's pretty cool. Why, of course I do, as Curtis says, because he got they were the subject of that spell at Gary Con. So, yep, very very cool.
Warlocks are great as bad guys too, because they're desperate.
Yeah.
The level of desperation to make that deal,
right?
It takes a level of commitment and that sometimes only despair gives you, or desperation anyway.
Yeah, and now the thing too is, like, I used a bunch of. I have good guys too. Like, there's Merlin. I have as a warlock. Patron. There's
He's like a gunfighter.
Yeah.
Let me go back
here. I can go right to your here. I can do this, and I can go
page
down
14.
So look, we got Zagig, Nazarn, Vathras, Ruckin, Merlin. There's Merlin. Yep, where's Merlin? We had a special priest of Merlin that actually played yesterday in the Ogre game. A halfling, especially priest of Merlin. It's pretty cool. Exactly, whatever works for you.
Right.
There's Clint Eastwood. Cayuse.
That would have been one of the halflings making one of those terrible mills on the stream here.
Caetum, Kellenin, Jody. Where's that Jody picture from?
That is from a lot of these, like a lot of the lists that I got that I went off of were all from the Living Greyhawk. And the reason I did that is because
I've never seen that one before. It's one.
The Living Greyhawk stuff is the most, I don't want to say comprehensive, but there's more material there than any other era of Greyhawk, right?
So, yeah.
What are you writing down?
Yeah, Daoud's a paladin. Darren is a paladin.
I'm trying to remember where I got
Daoud's one. Charlemagne. Azarok,
Fortress,
Zagig. A lot of them are hero deities. So yeah,
yes,
it's cool.
And they were either demigod or hero deities. Is the first round of the warlocks that I did,
because they're the ones that really they don't have the clout to have a lot of priests, so they're going to have
They don't have a lot of priests. Even if they did have priests, they would you can't cast over third level spells, right?
They got elevated minions.
There you go.
Well,
but this gives them a little specifics, that are specialized to the person that they're serving. So
I've pushed all the ones that have in my 1E2E game. So we're talking Kellenin, we're talking Merlin, we're talking fifth level spells.
Will, whenever I play one of your games, I want one of those guys.
Yeah.
I'll definitely give you one of these guys for sure.
Yeah, it's really the work here is exemplary, Will, and it's really appreciated.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So, and I guess this is cool because it kind of has this is a flavor in fifth that I don't think existed in third or first.
No, and the thing is the problem. You get a little bit of this in their when they do their setting books, or they do those expanded adventure ones, like Salt Marsh and the Dragonlance one. You sort of get a little bit of this, but they never go into like any. I haven't seen hardly any Warlock stuff. The only Warlock stuff really came out of who's the vampire guy? Strahd. It came out of the Strahd stuff, and that was it. No, they never really touched on it with anything else, which is a shame because it's perfect for doing other stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
it's like Zagig and what have you. It's you can go in and make a setting completely flavorful by doing warlocks and doing the cleric domains that they have. They're so the stuff that they already have that all exists, it's all generic.
Right.
So while that's nice, if you want to go through and do it, it's there's no specific flavor that ties anything to the settings.
So if you look at mine or Malden's or probably DM John's or whoever's in 1E, 2E, it's the specialty priest where the flavor comes from in our
yes.
In
yes.
5th edition, it's the warlock.
It's the warlock. And you know, it's the same thing too, because like with you can have the clerics be that way. You just got to do the work.
You got to do the work from scratch.
Because I've done so far. I did warlocks, I did paladins, and the paladins are the same as
they're hex.
The warlocks in the fact that they have specific abilities for. Because the only difference between the paladin and the warlock in 5th edition is who are you serving.
My girl,
in 5th edition, the paladins are serving a cause, which is okay, I guess, if you want to do it that way. But I like my paladins, my holy warriors, to be serving a specific deity and having that purpose. You can still have the causes, sure, that's fine. I mean, that's there, it's an option. But so then I did the same thing. I detailed the powers of the paladins by the gods they're serving. So there's 25 warlocks, 25 paladins. I have one more cleric to do, and then there's 25 cleric domains for 5th edition. So pretty much the religious stuff is all covered.
So real quick, Heather had a whole group come in, and Heather played yesterday. And I'm looking. I'm trying to find Viriel. You got, so here's Viriel's character, very uppity, snooty, elven cavalier. It was awesome. I'm glad to hear stream all. You did get from Jaqui, the witch that we're talking about, that you love so much. You have a +2 dagger of carving. It's special. It does triple damage against golems, so it can like carve right through those pumpkins or whatever. So that's what you got, Heather, as your magic item. I know we hadn't do Magic Division when we logged off, but just wanted to let you know that. Oh hell yeah! 7th level Elven Cavalier, noble house, very snooty. It's good to see your crew there, and we got 2 giveaways hanging in there. We got about a half hour left on the stream. So with me is the ever mysterious Tim and his dad John, who played in my game for 15 years, and the legendary also William Henry Dvorak, Giant Stomp. So it's and we're talking dark arts.
I was it was occurring to me, Jay, that the necromancer, of course, they're into like the dead stuff, but I think with witches, their lineage starts at hedge magic. It's like the person trying to and do what they can to help the neighborhood or whatever, and they just kind of get tangled up in a higher, darker power. And then and warlocks are another vein of that same sort of thing where they're
malicious. Look, we got Clark Rouse says right here. So, like I said, Will, please link your Patreon to get in chat. It's only $2 to get in on the Patreons if you want all this lovely, stuff that you can get for 5e, especially.
I will also say this: the way that the pay is set up, as far as with this goes, this is more you're going to pay to help me create once it's been created, and there'll always be some stuff that hides behind the paywall just to say thank you to those who do pay, but the bulk of the stuff that I make goes into the public as well.
Yeah.
So if you do this, you're helping me.
Away tonight. We're giving away Will's book along with one Classic D&D reprint. So, audience questions from this point on anything we discussed. 1E, 2E, anything for John, Tim, Will, myself. 1E, 2E, 3E, 5E, whatever you want here. Yes, Adventures Lead snap. What does that mean? Adventure's amount in this game you're playing. So my game, I have 27 different adventuring groups. Yes, it's insane, including some special groups with Legendary at Greenwood, the Slav Squad, 2 drink minimum, the new recruits we had yesterday. Hey, Darling, there's one. Darling is part of the member of the Slav Squad lurking away. So have a lot of.
Takes 5 years to rotate through all of it.
It almost does. It almost does. So, but there's a lot of great. There's a lot of streams.
My favorite is when you're all like, "We're not doing any more first level."
Oh, every 2 years, yes.
I'm like, all right, let's start the time.
You brought it up, Todd. You brought up Todd, Troy. I didn't bring up Todd. My good friend Todd Stashwick. I said my good friend Leonard Lakofka as a joke earlier. So, yes, I got you there. It's controlled lunacy. There is. But no, there are channels. There are DMs. There are games that don't get streamed that people are looking for players all the time. You just got to be into and logged into and part of the community. And like Curtis, right? Curtis, how many games have you hopped in? You're in a game on a regular basis now. Is it Les's game that's being run or Rich's that you're in? Yeah, there's a ton of them out there that people are just looking. So here's Virtual Grass Kong Discord, and here is the Cannon Fire Discord. Let me find it in my shout outs. I'm trying to find it. Where the hell? There we go. There's 2 Discords. So, yeah, to join up with and to see. So, what questions do we have here? I'll say this, John. How much you miss playing? You miss it?
I do. I'm afraid if I played, I would kind of slow things down a lot.
Well, it's just the fundraisers. We got a fundraiser coming up again. So thinking about adapting the Cultist from low fantasy gaming to 1E. So my adventures dark and deep game. Well, that's cool, Shadow. Where's that? The Cultist, low fantasy gaming. What?
Low fantasy game. That's the name of the system.
For OSC?
Stephen Gritz gets that's the name of the system. LFG, okay. Low Fantasy Gaming. It is very well done.
Okay.
Very well done. I actually played that. I streamed it. Even.
Oh, okay. Now, okay. Yeah.
Yep.
You did that with what city were you in?
We were down in the Hool Marches. Yes. Don't you know?
That's great.
Looking for some adventure down there. Didn't really find any, but yeah, it's good stuff. Steve Gradzitsky is the fella, but LFG, Low Fantasy Gaming, really well done. Really well done.
Clerics and servants of demons and devils for CNC use. So, group, that's a good question. Freaking Castles and Crusades.
Castles and Crusades.
Castles and Crusades, that's Troller Games. So, my Free City of Altamira will have classes, some, but it will not. So, but not. I don't know how the hell I convert it, especially. Spells is the toughest thing to do. To convert spells actually over from D&D to Castle Crusades without getting in trouble. So that's going to be tough. I'm trying to figure out how to do the Shadow Mage, but like the Bounty Hunter's done, but I don't know about, priests and things like that, how that would happen. My suggestion to you is just take a core rule for a cleric, take a 2nd edition priest, especially a priest that's made up, and just convert it over so that it works in the rule system of CNC. That's what I would do.
You know the problem with being a Shadow Mage?
What's that?
Vitamin D deficiency.
Yes.
True. That's real.
Problem.
Catch COVID
rickets.
That way. Rickets.
Troy's got a great question for you, Will. If you wanted to make a warlock for 1E, 2E, would you start from scratch or would you just go with necromancer or witch?
No, I'd start from scratch. If I were to do, which this is, one thing I started doing. I started making the kits for, and everybody's like, kits are for 2nd edition. I go, I know, but I'm making them for 1st edition because 1st edition fighters need the help. So, I would start from scratch because if I'm going to take a 5th edition version of what the warlock's supposed to be and put it into that rule set, the other ones have way too many spells, and that's the big problem. Whereas the warlock is basically, it is a special ability, even if the special abilities have a limited amount of uses. that's their gig. That's how they go.
I wouldn't call
So
them warlocks either. I think that's
yeah,
patriot.
I wouldn't call them all. I would, because that's really
Yeah.
the sense in which they're serving,
See,
because
LJ
they
from
serve at the
UK.
pleasure of whoever the
All them
patron.
cultists.
Cultist is a good name.
Cultist is a great name for them. So
Or what's the word if you were fanatic?
fanatics, good. Zealots.
Zealot. I like zealot. Zealot's good. I like that.
Zealot's a good name.
That's what I would call him. I call him
Yeah.
a patron zealot or something like that.
Yeah.
And start from first edition. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
All right. Curtis has got a great question, and Tim and I are both going to answer this one. As far as the necromancer and dark arts, how do you consider categorize the 1/8 humanoid shamans and witch doctors? If you ever notice in my games, I usually have a spellcaster fighting with all like bugbears or gnolls or whatever. Thank you, Teferish, for doing that. And I'm very open with it. I'll take a shaman and make it have clerical. I'll take a witch doctor and make it have clerical and mage and mix them together, or even have a little druid mixed in. And I tend to not keep them to rules because I don't want that to. I want to say, oh, you change it up. I'll even throw elementalist spells in with some of them. They may have some electricity spells, or they may have some radiant spells, or they may be a little bit of an elementalist. So I leave that open to interpretation because you don't know where like the tribes are getting their powers from. Tim, what do you think on that?
I agree with that. And it's for me, it's been more recently flavored with the shaman class I was using in the rovers.
Hey, Jingo.
And the sorcerer class too. They have a lot of primitive tribal sort of feel to them. So I'm flavored by that when looking at the tribals. But yeah, I just use them. The rules don't really matter. It's for what spells they get, but it should go along with the culture and the deity.
And I think that is where Tim and I have both evolved at a point of DMs. We're doing it for 40 years. We're comfortable doing it. Whereas a newer DM may be like, a null witch doctor. I wanna set some parameters where we know kind of. There's no such thing as challenge rating in old school, but we know what we're creating is going to be a challenge, not that it's going to be like overwhelming, and that keeps it fresh. So they don't go, oh, here comes a fireball. I'll throw frickin' a snowball spell or an acid ball at someone, and they're like, you can't get. Why not?
I just thought of another one.
Yeah. So, dark and scary feral druid. So, Shattered Saint, that's what my Avenger is. The Avenger can be that. Because they can be evil, they can be neutral, or they can be neutral good, neutral evil, and very feral. Now, LJ played a neutral good one yesterday morning. And I remember if you watch that stream, I said, "Is she a bathing druid or not? Is she out there just all She's she's clean and all that kids." But yeah, the Avenger can be an extremely feral druid because they also change into monster forms. So yeah, absolutely. Shadow Ball, no, Dartan Shadow Ball. Here we go. So John, another one.
Yes.
I'm sorry, John on stream and John, the Shadow Mage, which is a very recent addition of mine, is another one where it's used to enhance thieving, assassins, bounty hunters. It's actually I allow that in a multi-class for humans too as a playtest, but it's all Shadow Sphere spells. Shadow Ball's one. There is that kind of stuff.
Hence the vitamin D deficiency.
Hence, there's also lesser. Mm-hmm. Remember Shadow Magic and Demi Shadow Magic and Magic users lists? They're very powerful spells. They were kind of an illusionist, but they don't belong there really. But we have lesser Shadow Magic. There's all these that came out of the Relic and Rituals books from 3rd edition by Sword and Sorcery. They're fantastic. It allowed me to create the Shadow Mage class. So, yep, that's another one. So, yep. Cool there, Curtis. Good. So you're DMing. Awesome. That's great to hear, Curtis. I'm so happy you're DMing this year in there.
Nice.
You have a Hobgoblin Shaman in the game where you ran at GaryCon 15, and Virtual GaryCon since Josh requested it roughly follows the one he rules with some additions. Fantastic. You got to reskin. No, absolutely, there, Razko. Reskin things so that you don't know what's coming towards you. So, Curtis, I'm sorry, Will, Shamans and Witch Stalkers for 5th edition, what do you do?
Basically, those are clerics. They don't have any kind of differentiation to them, which I don't like. I don't like that.
Okay.
To me, it should be a variation. Druids, I think, have become basically like this kind of like catch all, nature caster sort of thing. I always look at shaman as being a little bit more specialized in whatever region they're in and where they find themselves. So that's basically what I would do as far as
I'd give them a totem creature, a totem animal too, if they're tribal.
Here, John, at this point.
Yeah, something like that. Now, there's plenty of when it comes to 5th edition, really, if you want something, there's probably some third-party stuff already done. There's so much third-party material out there for 5th edition. It's insane how much stuff is out there. So you've had more people producing 5th edition material than at any other time. Maybe even if you go back and combine all the other eras of D&D, it would equal about the same, because there's so many Kickstarters, so many companies that are producing so much stuff. I mean, it's just insane how much stuff is out there. So not all of it's good. Of course, there's some terrible stuff, but then there is some really choice stuff out there too. So I personally would go ahead and I would specialize it. I'd critique them down. I'd comb through the spell lists, and basically I'd turn them a little, give them a little bit more, like I say, per region. Now they do that with the druid to an extent, but it's only with all it is in like a couple of spells. It's like if you're this type of druid, then you can get a specific bonuses for your type of terrain that you're used to, but it's not like the entire class is kind of built with that flavor. So it's kind of weak. Again, it's with everything out of the player's handbook for 5th edition is very generic. There's not specifics.
If you wanted to make a shaman up for a gnoll in a group, are you just gonna do it right on the spot, or are you just gonna not do it?
No, actually, when it comes to like the monsters and stuff, that stuff's all done.
It is done. Okay.
In the monsters manual. Yeah. Okay. If you go in, they're very good about, if you have a humanoid race, they'll break it down and they'll give you a basic humanoid. Here's a chief and here's a shaman.
Okay.
That is pretty much the standard. And depending how it is, the more popular the class is, or the humanoid race is, you'll get a lot more. Like there's probably, I don't know, 7, 8 different types of gnolls that you can use from. So
interesting.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, tons and tons of monsters. Again, I mean, it's staggering how much there is available out there. So,
well, it's good to hear. Keep the questions coming, everyone. So I'm going to throw John on the spot here.
Uh-oh.
And this may be tough, but out of all the stuff we did, do you have a memory? What's your most fun moment? If it's a ball sack, it's fine. But what was your most fun moment ever that you can remember in our game? Like something that you were like, oh man, that was a blast. Because I remember you got splattered by a Juggernaut. So, but the Juggernaut adventure that I did there at Curtis? John's character Abdul got run over by it. That adventure. Yeah.
That was grossly unfair.
Yes, it was. So
as usual.
I would be hard put to find one or two things.
Yeah.
All the time I played, it was fascinating, interesting, stimulating, and great opportunity to have fun with friends.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's
what I remember most about all the D&D. I can't believe it's 40 years. Good grief!
Isn't it crazy? So, John, when I started logging adventures, number 1, the Battle of Outpost number 1, it just so happened to be the first. It was myself running for Tim and Walt. Isn't that insane?
Wow.
So we played before that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. And we played in 78. I played in 78 and 79. Holmes Basic, but we just ran adventures. Or we got like TomoCon. We ran it. We weren't in the Greyhawk setting yet because it wasn't out yet. That folio wasn't out yet.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, the campaign itself didn't really start till 80. So yeah. Fritz Winchester. That was it. That's it, and that's the whole thing. So, but your two favorite characters in my campaign probably are Abdul and Petronius by far. I'm assuming.
Yes, I do like.
You had some good characters. I mean, you had Sagramore.
What was the name of that character that Alan had? The
one you didn't like.
Kroger.
The
gnome, Kroger Blackrock, the clerk. He was a illusionist thief.
Yeah, I have him in my story.
Yeah,
completely disgusting.
So if I recall, this is a funny story. Will, wait to hear this. There was enmity between Petronius the halfling and Kroger.
Yeah.
Okay. Kroger would do illusionist spells to annoy Petronius, create fake things that would follow him around Greyhawk.
Yeah.
But Petronius would get animals like dogs and stuff to run up and hump Petronius's leg and stuff, right? As a druid. So there was all that. The little people going, and they're in the same adventure party. Yeah, it was just those were the days, man.
Now that's good stuff.
That was good stuff back in the day. and there's an adventure, and I bet you DM John knows this, or Sam Wise if he's on, or some other of you. There's an adventure written where Aluk died. Aluk gets destroyed in Greyhawk, and his house is for sale, right? I think it's a dungeon, and we ran that.
I vaguely know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we ran that, and Kroger got it. He won it. For 41,000 gold pieces or something. No, it's not. It's not that one. It's not House of Summoner Court. I don't think by that one is by Roger Moore, if I recall. There's an actual adventure where it's Aluk's place is for sale. You find all this weird stuff inside. So what Kroger now would do, because he's a high, you got that chromatic orb spell that petrifies, right?
Yeah.
He would petrify people. And he'd hold out the back of the head, and he put them on his statues on his front lawn at Aluk's place. So now we have all these freaking statues that he's I mean, just the weird stuff that happens in your own campaign.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were interesting characters.
Yeah, and they still are. They're still around, which is it's just they're 12th level, 11th, 12th, 13th level. That's really high in my campaign. Yeah, chromatic orbs are nasty. And John has, I believe, has the highest druid from first in my campaign. His
really?
I think so. 12 druid thief, your halfling. Yeah, I think he's the highest. Yeah, absolutely. So there, a little. I also created a cousin of you that lives out off of Diamond Lake. Yeah, of Petronius. So
got a big family.
Yeah. So as we're winding down here.
Known fact: halflings have big families.
Yeah, absolutely. Did he have to battle another druid for his level? He's in Greyhawk City, so he's not. He's the druid. He's not an archdruid, right? Mm-hmm. Archdruid's 13th, so he's only 12th. I don't think did 12th level druids have to fight. I don't know. I
think that's the last level they get to.
I think there's 3 archdruids.
Only 12.
I think that rule.
Oh, damn weirdo, Wade. Thank you. Really cool. So as we're winding down here, just note, witches are in my game. Necromancers are in my game. Maesters, the Death Master's an NPC. All sorts of the Shadow Mage. Will's got the Warlocks for you, and all sorts of other, and Clerics also for 5th edition. I especially priests. There's a lot of hey, it's great to see you, man. There's a lot of great things out there that you won't find in a normal book, whether you're playing 5th edition, or you're playing old school, or you're playing 3.5 or whatever. That there's resources for your Greyhawk game. Death Knight PCs, no. There's anti-paladins, and they're not PCs, right?
We have been summoned. We've been summoned to go to the upstairs to I've been instructed to make sure I feed my father.
There you go.
I've been a bad host.
Yeah, well, not completely bad because
Yes,
saw
I've
you
ordered
guys,
him.
we've managed
Yes,
to have
yes. We've had some.
Yes, but dude, I drank way too much last night.
No.
Way too much. I'm still feeling it, but I got 2 days. on it.
Will, Jay, thank you.
Tim,
Thank
thank you
you
for coming on, John. It's so great to see you
well,
again. Thank
Great to
you.
be here. It was wonderful.
Absolutely.
Nice to meet everybody.
Yeah, and there's a huge crowd
Nice
out
meeting
there, and like I said, we got to get you back in the game once in a blue moon and just to hang and play. So,
I love it.
all right, you guys have fun. Will and I will finish it up here.
I'll see you.
Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Hi.
Plus, we got the giveaways to do still, 2 of them. That was awesome to see Tim's dad. That was great.
That is a good thing.
Definitely.
Very good.
So, what, Will, would you like to do next in this Dark Arts realm for your what you're doing in your Grail project?
I definitely would like to expand more on. I would like to make more warlocks.
Cool.
Like I said, I really want to make a Dragatha, and a Vecna one would be really good.
How about Corruptus?
Yes, that's another great one to do.
Yeah, I think that'd be
awesome. I can never say Tomb Horslich. That guy would be a great one to have. I can never say Ace. See, I can't say it. I know the dude. I know his name. They gave him a book in 5th edition, even, for crying out loud.
The Tomb of Annihilation. Yeah, Esarek.
Yep. Esarek.
Another one would be.
I still can't say it that well.
Another one would be the other Azalin. Would be another one too. Would be a good one too.
I'd like to actually, not with this conversation and even looking into it before we even started talking and whatnot, it's like, really could use a witch in 5th edition for sure.
Timothy Brannon hasn't even done one. The last time I talked to him, I said, Tim, you got 1st through 4th edition. He says, I don't know if I'm going to do one for 5th. I was surprised. So
yeah, a 5th edition one would be really good, because it needs some more of that. Like I say, all of the actual stuff that's the official stuff is a little too generic, a little too homogenized for my liking. So, especially if you want to run like a horror sort of thing, they kind of missed the mark. I figured they would have done something in Curse of Strahd, and to my understanding, they haven't. So, but yeah, those are definitely on the mark. I have a super long list of things that I want to do. So this is the start of this is what I'm going to continue to do in my retirement years.
Yeah, well, it's just like me. It's at least 6 years away. So my retirement years, but yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
Understand completely.
I just got to find somebody to take care of me.
Yes, that would be awesome. If I retire, my wife still works. She'll kill me, right?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. I'm 56. I got 6 years. That's a minimum. So.
Right.
Yep. I was thinking about Curtis trying to get me a job in the federal government, because I heard, this is weird. I heard that if you only work 5 years in a federal government position, you get to keep your same benefit plan even at retirement. I'm like, 5 years?
Really?
Yeah. You have to pay for it. You have to pay it, but you're eligible to keep it.
Still.
So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I've worked in government for the past almost 10 years. So.
Curtis, cool, man. I'll take it. That's awesome. Yeah, I've been in the line. Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, I heard that. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Jay, you would have a never-ending list of honeydews of you. Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true.
No doubt.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll send you a tool belt for Christmas.
Yeah. So I don't think I have any banners done for this upcoming week, so we don't even need to go there. But what would you like to? What else would you like to shout out, Will, as we're winding down here?
I need to tonight, actually. After we're done with this, I'm going to package up and send over to see the Mr. Cumbo.
Chuck,
my finished adventure that I wrote for him.
That's awesome.
So the manuscript is done, so I just need to get it to him and see what they like, what they don't like, if they want any changes or anything along those lines. I'm now that I'm back from Ohio, I'm back from my 2-week sabbatical and the adventure out there. I'm going to be ramping back up and getting back into doing more of the projects. Like I said, I've got one more cleric archetype for 5th edition to do, and then I'll have the 25, and that'll be done with that. And we'll be moving on to druids, one out on the poll. So that's what everybody voted to have. I already did the Dark Druid. I have the Dark Druid for 5th edition, but that was kind of a cheat because I ported that in from. I did that before, but it counts.
Of course, it counts. I mean, Kunz did all the work,
right?
Right. I mean, my God, I love that. You've all seen the adventures I've done. Right before I went on vacation, I did one with the Dark Druids. I love. They fit right into Greyhawk, man. Right in. I like it. Gnarly. I love the Dark Druids. Yeah.
So. Perfect. I'll be ramping that stuff back up and getting that rolling. And then I have a new, knock on wood, got a new D&D group. It's going to be starting up next Sunday. No, not next Sunday, Sunday after next. So I think that's the 14th. Could be wrong. Something like that. Or the 21st. 21st, I think, is what I'm thinking of. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to get back to doing some DMing. So, and that's about it right now. I've got a list of other projects that are just ready to jump off but I always got projects ready to go. So,
any hint on the direction for this adventure that you're submitting, CNC?
When I talked with Chuck, he said that they didn't have any good low-level adventures. They were really lacking in it. So basically, if you want to, it is sort of like a Hamlet, sort of a cool. It's called the working title's The Dragon's Hoard.
Okay,
but there's a lot more to it than just that. It is for starting off an adventuring party, and basically I've put a number of different hooks for going and continuing on the adventure. In tradition, it's not really something that's it is balanced to an extent as far as the adventure goes. So yeah. So that's about all I think I could say with that. I mean, you could kind of guess a little bit about what it might be about from the title, but
right. That's cool.
But keep in mind, it is for 1st through 3rd, basically. So
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, and you got some other stuff going, which is brewing, which is great. And
yeah, I just haven't decided which adventure is the next one that I'm going to start writing. There's a couple: the Lost City of the Soul, or the Overking's tomb, which is basically for the Overking of the dwarves that died at the during the well, no, not that. Before that. Oh. So basically, the Overking that was king over all the dwarves in the Flanaess, when the
Vecna?
The mass destruction, not the Rain of Color.
Evoke devastation.
Thank you. There's the words I was having trouble. Yeah, the his halls and whatnot were destroyed in that.
Okay.
And that's what fractured the dwarves from having one ruler. So there's that. So needless to say, if you want to have a vote on what is the next adventure I'm actually going to do, because I'm going to do something that's
$3 a month.
There you go. It's is going to be a higher level thing than I've done. The last 2 that I did were both for 1st through 3rd level, because I did Echoes of a Dark Past, which is now on drive-through, and then I want to do something that's higher level. So that's when I'm going to be going into this. So I'll be doing a survey, and everybody gets to choose where my creative juices will be put after that.
That's awesome. So, and Began asked, are you going to stream anything? I think you think it's a detriment to getting stuff done, right? Streaming, just the time take up?
Well, if he wants to know if I'm going to be starting to... I still stream whenever Adam does his Dragonlance.
Right.
I'm a cast member on that. But aside from that, that's it. The biggest roadblock, I mean, sure, it gets in interferes with production of my writing and stuff like that. But the other big thing is it's a big commitment. It's probably even a bigger commitment than a standard role playing company. And basically, if I can't do it to the standards I want to adhere, I'm not going to do it. So probably not anytime in the near future. I would love to do it again sometime, but not yet. I might do it for like an upcoming event, a special or something like that. But
awesome.
A continuing stream, I probably won't do that anytime in the foreseeable future.
Okay.
But thanks for asking.
Yeah.
It's good to know that people would like me to do it more.
Definitely. Absolutely. And I really appreciate you coming on. This is a really wonderful discussion. Like I said, John was a bonus. I did not even know John was there at Tim's house. Right. So, but it's good to see them both come on. So
every time coming on is always fun. So
definitely, I appreciate that. So here's what's going on with me. I have a game tomorrow. I'm not streaming it. Okay, sorry, but it's all 13-year-olds. So my son's friends are coming, and I'm running a game on the table for the Gnarlyman and Greyhawk. So good old Tiborius will be back. Like I said, he's actually mentioned in Earth Journal 29. That group, along with Olga Bubka, the daughter of Kondrigas Bubka, is part of that group. And they'll have some new members joining with friends who have never played Old School, and they'll be playing tomorrow. So I'm really excited about that. So I'll be playing with kids tomorrow. So I won't be streaming that. We'll go Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday next week. Probably nothing over the weekend. Wednesday is Legends of Lore, and we're not sure if we're going to do water-based discussion or a My Greyhawk. If we can actually find someone between now and then, it may be difficult. And then Thursday we continue our adventure that we're running with my remake of the Doom Grinder. I think I have that though, and that is a big one because I think Curtis won this last time, if I recall correctly. Give me 1 second here. It is a quarterly Miniature Building Authority giveaway, sponsor giveaway, and that's a $75 and a $25 gift certificate. So $100 in gift certificates from Miniature Building Authority every quarter, and that is this Thursday. Yeah, please, Troy, I'm not going anywhere, so we can talk. I'll hop on the Cannon Fire. All right, sound good? We can go to a secure channel. Just give me 10 minutes after the stream's over. Importance of the Great Apocalypse, Part 5, The Ruined Temple of Salakra. Salakra is the deity that Ed Greenwood created for the community, which is a demigoddess of Ralashaz. And I have tied her, and remember, she's supposedly in the God Trap now, and they're trying, these nameless ones, the cultists, are trying to figure out a way to get her free, to unleash her wrath upon the earth, and that's why the Doom Grinder is spinning. So there you go, and that's what's going on in my game. This is part 5 of that mega remake. That is Thursday, and then we'll have a Gavin next week. Maybe Inked Mage didn't get back to me this week, so maybe he'll be on next week. We'll see, but we're working. That's what we're working on, along with all the other stuff. I hope everyone enjoys their 4th of July. After this, I won't see you all again until Wednesday, right? Which is okay. Let's do the 2 giveaways. First winner gets their choice if you want a reprint or if you want Will's book. Everything is packed up and ready to go that has been physical giveaways underneath here, all ready to go for tomorrow. With the exception of the only thing I don't, the codes from Thursday night. I still don't have the Infinite Dimension code. So Crazy Cyber and Tino Monkey Boogers hang in there. I'll get them shortly. Okay, but we're caught up besides that. Yes. Because, people, when you win, you want your giveaways right away. I understand that completely. All right, closing this out. Let's see who wins tonight. Thank you all for the support today, and thank you all for the support yesterday. We were the #1 stream all morning for D&D yesterday. Yay. Yeah, it was awesome. And, man, I really messed with them head-wise. They were like, that was awesome. So, thanks, Razzmatazz. Here we go. The first winner tonight is 491 Phantom. Winner number 1. Winner number 2, Savage Baron. All right, so 491 Phantom, you get your choice. Will, there's a couple people that said they're having issues with the Ravensbrook stuff for the PDFs from last time. Is that they're just not doing it right, or?
Don't know, but you can feel free to go ahead and contact
Chris. Contact Will Giant Stomp in Discord. He's part of multiple servers, so check the Cannon Fire server, the Grok Event server, and just whisper him. Okay.
Yep. Just send me a message. Cool. We'll get you squared away.
Yep. So, 49 Phantom, what do you want first? Phantom, your choice. Do you want Ravensbrook, or do you want Will reprints already have Ravensbrook? Okay. So Savage, do you want if you already have Will's book, you can do a reprint as well. Just let me know, Savage. So but I will. If not, I will send that out to you, and it's good to see. Phantom 491. I got Treasures. I think you already have that. I got Tomb of Lizard King still. I got Ravenloft. I got Raise the Dead. That's a great one from Sword and Sorcery. I got a Shady Dragon Inn. I got a Palace of the Silver Princess. Let me know. All right, so Savage, I think I have your address, and you'll get Ravensbrook. I'll send it right out to you for tomorrow. It'll go out tomorrow, and we'll see you all. Dark Arts and Magic, The Gathering. Yeah, there's history. Your lucky history. I like you so much from meeting you at Gary Con. So I'm just kidding. I know he's busting my stones. So see you all Wednesday. Enjoy the 4th of July weekend. I will be on Cannon Fire in 15 minutes after this because I got some things to discuss with some people. But I'll be on hanging out tonight because I'm off tomorrow. So Will, thanks. This was great. I hope
always a good time.
I hope you got some Patreon signups.
I got a couple. I did get a couple.
All right,
so
awesome.
Always good.
That's good to hear, man. And thank you, John, and thank you all. See you all in a couple days. Enjoy the holiday week, and wish my son and his friends good luck. Because I'm running something I ran on live stream a while back with some really. He's not on. Some really nasty trolls, like the Pox trolls and stuff I have. Yeah, it's going to be fun. So, see you all soon. Have a good one.
Have a good night. Happy 4th.
Hit the right button here. Got it. We're going to raid in the Darling. Thank you. Setting the raid up. Looks like they're running Dragonfire and Cormyr, which is cool. And her and Bones are playing in it, which is awesome. Alrighty, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you all soon. Oh, 82 people going in. That's awesome. Raid.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people sometimes forget that they're expecting the PDF just to come directly to them.
Right, and that could be
and so they don't realize that they have to